So how do we adjust the weight on the trailer? Basically, you see the truck behind me, right? So I'm gonna use my truck as an example. We even have the Prime Unicorn over here on this side, but we're gonna use that. Now, on a given truck like this, you're allowed to have 12,000 pounds on the steers, which is the front wheels. Then you can have a max of 34,000 on these tires, and then 34,000 on the rear tires. Now, that's basically how the weight is distributed. Imagine when you get to the customer and they fill it up, the truck with cargo, but somehow the weight is not distributed correctly. So what they have to do at that time is they have to slide the tandem to even out the weight. Now, how does that work? As you can see, you have, let's say, imagine maximum 34,000 pounds on this tire and maximum 34,000 pounds on that tire. If you imagine each of this section as, let's say, 10,000 pound weight. So 10,000, 10,000, 10,000, 10,000 all the way down. Now, imagine this is where the rear wheel is. You got a bunch of weight here, a bunch of weight here, right? If you move the wheel, move the tandems forward, what would that mean is that more of the weight is carried by the rear wheel and lesser of the weight is carried by the front wheel. So it will adjust so that more weight is carried here, because see, the wheels are moved forward, you have more weight on the back to adjust. But let's say for some reason there was more weight here and less weight there. So to even out the weight, you actually would move the wheels back. As you're moving the wheel back, imagine this: 10,000, 10,000, 10,000, 10,000. As you move the wheel back, that 10,000 that was over here is now in front of the tire, which makes it lean more, like put more of the weight in the front. So that is the technique for moving your tandem to adjust the weight to make sure you're within regulation. That okay, this is a very simple representation of how the tandem is going to work. Imagine the trailer is like a seesaw, and this is the pivot in the middle, and this is seesaw. Now all of these boxes are 1,000 pounds. Now remember, right now all of these boxes are being shared their weight by this tandem and this axle and this axle. So there's 1,000 here and 1,000 in the front and 2,000 in the back. Imagine if you end up actually being out of DOT regulation. So there's way too much weight over here, saying, hey, all these boxes are too much, there's too much weight over here, we need to reduce the weight and put more weight to the front. The way you would do that is very simple. You would basically move the tandems to this position, like in the back. Now, as soon as these tandems are moved to the back, like seesaw, now only there's 1,000 pound on the back, and all those other 2,000 pounds end up being in front of this tandem, in front of the axle. So, you know, just like seesaw, now there's more weight in the front and less weight in the back. So now these axles are going to show less weight, and there'll be more weight on the front of the axle. And that's how you adjust the weight, so that it's maximum 34,000 pounds on the front and 34,000 pounds on the back axle, if that makes sense. Why I'm telling you that? Because this is what happened with us on our last delivery. We had a load that was 45,000 pounds, okay? And the way they distributed the weight, it was uneven. There was more weight on the drive tires than on the trailer axles. So we had to actually go back, get a ticket from the weighing scale, found out that how the weight was distributed incorrectly, and then went back to the shipper and had them readjust the weight, readjust the packages inside, so that even amount of weight was distributed on both tires. This is after adjusting the axles as the max we could do. It was still out of range, so they had to redo the weight and finally get it within, so that we had 34 and 34 on each of the axle. Have your TNT instructor explain it to you in detail, because I don't know if I did a good job, but basically he will be able to explain how to move the tandem and how to adjust the weight so that you are within DOT regulation. So it's like, remember, 12,000 max on the front, 34 on the drive tires max, and 34 on the trailer tires. It has to be that. If it is anything more than that and it's not adjusted correctly, you could be pulled over by DOT, because the weighing scales all around the highway, they always pull you over. And what, I even got pulled over again today. I pulled over by the border patrol or border control or something, and my instructor was telling me that, you know, he's been driving for such a long time and he hasn't been pulled over as many times as as when he's with me, and I got pulled over like 3 times already. So just be careful with the weight. It's a critical thing. You do not want to be overloaded and drive down the highway and get a ticket, because the ticket they give is based on how overweight you are. So it could end up being